Hey guys, good morning. Good morning. Jennifer here, and I am here with Andrea Masek. We are going to be talking about career pivots and transitions. So welcome to New Year, New You. This is episode 5. We are finally moving into our career section of the month. I know you job seekers have been eager for that. Many of you have messaged me. Wanted to start with fitness and wellness and mindset, guys. You got to build a foundation before we can get to the good meat. So starting with the good meat with Andrea today. So really happy to just chat with you guys. And Andrea, if you'd say hello and maybe tell people a little bit about yourself and your services, your career and your coaching journey.
Yeah, thanks, Jennifer, and good morning, everyone. I know it's early for some of you, so thanks for being here. Like Jen said, or sorry, Jen, I'll keep calling you Jen. I have a twin sister.
You can call me Jen.
Jennifer,
that is fine.
It goes by Jen, so it just comes out.
Jen is great. It's great.
Awesome. Yeah, pro tip, you guys, if you're in transition and interviewing, always ask the interviewer first tip of the day how to pronounce your name and how they want to be referred to. So first tip for our live. So I'm Andrea Masek, and I am a career coach for high achieving women who are young professionals and recent graduates, and I guide them through pivotal career transitions. So whether that be going from college to career into your first job, or you've been working for a while and ready to make a change or want to level up, really guiding you through those critical moments so that it's not so stressful and it's successful and fun, and you can really do that in a mindful way and have fun with it and not be so scared.
Yeah, no, that's great. I think that especially during 2020, COVID, I think that was probably the theme of the year, right? Career transitions and pivots and trying to find other areas to go. So no, I think this is great. And I think this is something that so many people want to learn about. So I'm so excited to chat about it today. I actually even got off a call with a sophomore in college right now, shortly before this live session, just really wondering how to set themselves up for exiting college. So I'd love to start with that. Let's start at the bottom of the totem pole. So for our newer grads, those who are looking for internships, those who are entering the job force, what is your recommendation for them on how they can enter strong and find internships or things that are going to go well with their experience?
Yeah, good question. And kudos to that person that you had a call with. That is amazing that you already have that foresight and you're setting yourself up and want to get a peek kind of behind the curtain before you step into college. So fantastic. That is a great demonstration of one thing they need to be doing, which I know you've talked about this a lot before. We talk about this a lot in terms of networking and what a fantastic platform LinkedIn is to do that. But you guys, I know you don't want to hear it again, but it really is one of the best tools, most powerful tools, and the most accessible tools you have right now. It's not something you have to go buy. You don't have to wait to get experience for. You have it at your availability right now. So I highly recommend networking. So reaching out to people that you know and really pushing yourself to reach out to people that you don't know. And this is something I coach my clients on because exploration is really important. I think when it comes to like looking for internships or stepping into a career, we don't talk about the thing that you go through is you don't know who you are sometimes, right? Like you're going through this big transition, you're trying to reconcile a new identity, you're coming of age in some regards. So really giving yourself a strategic way to explore and asking those questions through networking and finding information out is really critical and really important to figuring out how that matches up to your skill sets and what you want to do in the long term. It's like career dating. That's what I call it. You know, you can't marry a job until you date it and figure out what it's like and on their good days and their bad days. And networking is a great way to do that.
I love that. No, that's so true. It's so true that it's important to try things out, move into different areas because your interests can change and you never know what you're going to like until you try it. You know, I always joke. I always joke with my fiance that, you could be like a prodigy at the saxophone or something, but you would never know if you never picked up the saxophone and you never messed around with it. You know, it's that sort of thing that you kind of have to try it. And no, I love what you said, because I feel like so many people try to pigeonhole themselves, right? They're like, you know, I'm in operations, so I'm going to look for operations internships. And there's so much beyond that in different areas that you can really open your mind.
Yes. And to that point too, I know, kind of going back to your question, you know, what can they do too, in terms of like stepping into an internship, or a career? You know, I want to assure all of you, whether you're seasoned in career or you're a new grad, especially those new grads, you're not just the sum of your degree, right? So your degree is your foundation. It's giving you core skills and critical thinking skills, to really go forward, but it's not the end all be all. So I really encourage you to stretch yourself and think about, okay, with this type of degree, what kind of jobs can I get? But doesn't have to directly align with that. And I'm a perfect example of that. I've successfully pivoted 5 times in my career. Thought I was going to be a doctor. Clearly I'm not. And, but really was able to uncover my core skills, which I know we're going to talk about shortly, and how that's going to translate and fit with different types of jobs. And if anyone had told me I was going to be a career coach when I was 18, I just would have laughed at them and been like, no, I'm not. Like, I'm going to be a doctor. I don't know what you're talking about. So,
yes.
So, you know, to your point, don't pigeonhole yourself and really expand past what your degree is and how that's matching. Really push yourself to see other alignment with other jobs.
Same. Yes, I couldn't agree more, guys. If for those of you who aren't familiar, or for those of you who are new tuning in, I have my degree in nutrition, health, and wellness. So
I saw that.
Clearly not using that at all. I have never used it since graduating from college. I've always had jobs that had absolutely nothing to do with my degree. So, you know, there's definitely transferable skills that you can use and build elsewhere. And I would definitely say that I think your work experience and your projects and things are going to be much more valuable than whatever degree you got. Half the time they just care that you have a degree, just to prove that you can make it through.
Yeah. And I was going to say that too. I mean, a lot of what that degree shows the employer is, you know, the commitment to yourself, that you can critically think, you can think on your feet, you're adaptable, a lot of which are soft skills that employers look for. You know, the top 3 right now are adaptability, collaboration, and teamwork. So, which a lot of you are gaining unprecedented practice in right now with the pandemic. But yeah, just knowing, again, it's showing them a container of which you can operate in. It's not your full ability. Yeah.
Right. So on the theme of pivots and transitions, I'd love to get your opinion. So is it different pivoting from, you know, college to degree and then from career to other career? And if so, how so?
Yes, good question. So in my opinion and my experience, both with my own career and then working with my clients, it is a little bit different. So typically when you're going from college or even a graduate degree, a master's degree, into a career, it's really a lot of the navigation of one environment to the next. So, and most of us are coming from that environment, from an educational environment with some professional or practical real world experience, but we're not fully immersed in that. So a lot of that transition is really getting acclimated to that new environment in a real world setting. So a lot of you are in online classes, and that's transitioning a little bit easier than maybe before. Not transitioning easier, but you're going from a similar setting in a school environment to professional environment. But there's still a lot of kind of unspoken rules that you have to get used to. So, you know, the expectations from your boss, you know, how do you stay on Slack all day? Can you get off Slack? You know, when do you return an email? So a lot of that early transition, that first transition, is a lot of that, just learning the ropes is the term that we hear a lot of how the professional world works. And then once you get your footing and you get that experience, then usually that next pivot or that subsequent pivots are, okay, now I know my skill set. I know who I am as a professional. I either want to level up or I want to try something new, whether it be a new job or new industry. And so it's showcasing your skill sets in a different way. So in the first transition too, you're also trying to really establish yourself. And then subsequent transitions, it's, okay, I'm a little bit established now. I want to become more established, or like reinvent myself essentially in a new career.
Right. No, that's great. And totally resonates with me. That makes total sense. So in regards
to myself 5 times, you guys. So I know what I'm talking about.
Yes, no, and congratulations to you because I know how difficult that is to do. So to pull it off 5 times, I mean, snaps to you on that. You must have really honed in on what your strengths are. So I'd love to
Yeah.
discuss that next and how, all the job seekers out there who may be confused, what are my transferable skills? What are my larger skill sets that I possess? How do they go about finding those if they don't already know what they are, would you say?
Yeah, thank you. Great question. So all of this are things too that I support on coach people through because one, I want to comfort everybody. We're not taught how to do this. There isn't a degree in one, how to establish yourself as a career professional, let alone how to pivot your career. And I want to give you guys some validation that a lot of your career, this may not be what you want to hear, is happenstance or accidents. You're going to land in a career because maybe your partner moved for a job and you're moving with them and you have to find a job, or you don't like where you are and you are going to look for a new position. So your career is going to be a lot of ups and downs and a lot of unexpected changes, and you're going to learn how to navigate that. And so really having a really good understanding of who you are and your skill sets is going to be that anchor for you. And that's what I'm going to talk about. So just, I guess, and I hate to say this word, you guys, but to level set, transferable skill is really a skill that you can use in one job or industry that you can use in another. So a lot of those tend to be soft skills. So like we were talking about earlier, Jen, communication, teamwork, collaboration, data analytics, it's all of the things that really you can take with you from one job to the next or one industry to the next. And often as a job candidate, that's what really sets you apart from other people. And to your point, where you can hone in your skills and really set yourself apart from other people. And I actually have a free guide that people can download that's all about how to uncover your transferable skills. And we can talk a little bit more of that, but want to just start with that first.
Yeah, no, that's great. I will definitely drop the link, guys. After we finish our little chat here, I will put it in the comments so that you guys can check that out. And get some more information on that, because transferable skills are absolutely crucial to pivots and sort of figuring out where you're headed long term. So I love that you are providing that resource for people. That's so great.
Yeah, it's really critical. And again, we're not usually taught how to uncover those and really how to elevate those and showcase them in a way. And those are things, and Jennifer, you know those too, when you're doing a resume or a cover letter, those are the things that you want to talk about. And those are the skills that you're trying to connect to the job description. And that's where you want to create that alignment so that the employer is not guessing what it is that you're bringing to the table. You want to draw that connection for them, and not, you want to answer more questions for them than leave them with more questions. And your transferable skills is a fantastic way to do that. And you already have them. So why not showcase those first?
Right. And I find that so often that's what sets you apart in the recruiting industry on my end, is that you can have 10 candidates all with a great skill set. They could all basically have the same resume that I'm looking at. But if someone is showing that human side, that they have that teamwork, they have that collaboration, they have that leadership, they're going to be a much stronger candidate, guys. So make sure that you're including those soft skills, because they are important. I can't tell you how many resumes I see that are very technical, engineered, things like that. And I realize you guys deal with a lot of math, but you're still human.
You're still
people. I want to
see using that example.
My people things on your resume. Show me you're a human, please. So
I have a soft spot. My husband's a software engineer, so I have a soft spot for anyone out there who's a software engineer. But yes, don't forget to show your human side, and for sure. I mean, because at the end of the day, all the skills that we're talking about are what you have to use regardless of your industry, regardless of your job. You're going to be working with other people, whether the same age, different ages, different cultures. You're going to have to talk to them, communicate with them, work with them, get results with them. So showing that you can do that with other people is so critical. Yeah.
No, I agree. And we have our first question. So one from Davina. Do hiring managers always suggest submitting a cover letter, and do they actually read them? So I will let Andrea take a stab at this, and then I will do
So yeah, from my past life, I was an HR business partner and used to screen candidates a lot and interview. I would say it's best practice, typically speaking, to include a cover letter. One, because like we're talking about here, Davina, that gives you a fantastic opportunity to tell a little bit more about yourself and really tell what I call your career story without them asking you for that. So if there is, again, a transferable skill that you really want to highlight that you're bringing to the table, let's say it's teamwork, and you have a fantastic example of how you took a team through change or led them through a project, that is invaluable space for you to convey that message to them and really elevate your application. So I would say submit it. If you have a chance and they ask for it, absolutely take the time to do it. It may or may not get read, but I would say you want to send it anyway, and the chance that they do read it, because you just never know. So that's my 2 cents on that. What do you think?
100%. I would agree. I would say in tech sometimes, I don't know, the hiring manager will likely read it. If you make it that far in the process, the hiring manager will read it. But in big firms, the recruiter may not always read the cover letter. I'll be honest with you guys. Sometimes we don't always have time, but make it anyway, because if you make it far enough in the process, your cover letter really is your chance to advocate for yourself and explain your story from your side, just like Andrea said. So it's backing up the information that's already on your resume, providing some context. So I would agree.
Yes, and it's a great way to show, again, your communication skill. You're going to be communicating with your team in writing all of the time, whether it be an email, a Slack message, some case. So that's, again, to her point, just backs up your information and shows your communication ability.
Yeah. No, I totally agree.
Great question.
Yeah. Well, it sparks some more questions. Okay, great. We're gonna move on to some more.
Yeah.
Okay. So how do I convince a recruiter through cover letter / email to set me up for an interview if I want to work overseas? That is a good question, Mohammed. I would say, from my perspective, that you probably want to check beforehand if they're accepting applications from overseas. Not every company for every role is accepting applications. There's sometimes where we open up roles, we're open to anyone. There's sometimes we open up roles, we just want someone local. We just want someone from the US. So definitely check. I wouldn't want you to, I hate saying waste your time, but I mean, resumes take a long time to submit. Half the time it takes a half an hour to submit it. So don't submit one for a role that you aren't for sure about. Sure. Any thoughts on that, Andrea?
Yeah, I was going to echo that and say, one, do your research, see if there's a position open, and the cover letter, like we're talking about, is a great way to, again, we hate to keep using this word, but like make your case. So why consider you? Like what transferable skills, comes full circle, Mohammed. What transferable skills or experience are you offering that's really going to fulfill that role for them in a way that somebody else may not? So again, using that opportunity to showcase why you're the candidate for that job and what value you're bringing. I think a lot of times we forget that job is solving a problem for the company, right? So there is a role to be filled, but there's a problem to be solved most of the time. So if you can connect your cover letter to maybe insight you have as to that problem that job is solving for the company, that might be a really great way to do that and showcase that in your cover letter.
Yeah, I totally agree. It can be a great place to again advocate for yourself. So definitely let it help you put your best foot out there.
But I agree, definitely do your research first and see. Don't assume there is a job open for that. And if you know for sure, say that. But don't assume it's open.
Right. So, but if my technical side is strong enough, does it really matter whether I participate in a lot of social activities or not? So I'll let Andrea take this one first.
Oh, I don't know your first name. Thank you for asking that. My husband has asked me this question before when he goes to a new team or whatever the case may be. It does to a certain extent, yes. And again, I'm sure I want Jen to answer this too. Oftentimes it can depend on the company, but at the end of the day, again, you're a team. You're playing a part in a bigger company that is working with other individuals, with clients. And so you might not have to participate all of the time, meeting every single week or every coffee networking event or every happy hour, but it goes a long way to show that you are participating and want to add value and you want to be a part of that company. Even if it's not your favorite job and you don't love it, it doesn't hurt for you to participate. It's really a way for you to build your professional reputation and show that you're a team player. Participating even when you don't want, and doing it tactfully, is a great way to show teamwork.
No, I totally agree. And no, I think Andrea hit the nail on the head. I mean, these sorts of collaborative environments, I mean, I work on a team of like 40 people, guys. So if you can't get along with people and you can't speak to people and get what needs to be done in that way, you're not going to be able to accomplish the goals you need to accomplish. So you don't have to be the most talkative person in the world. You don't have to be super outgoing, super bubbly, but it's about making an effort. It's about showing up, obviously, when you absolutely need to. And I would say trying to find at least maybe one social activity at work that you enjoy. Maybe there's one person you really connect with. You can connect with them more, but start somewhere and develop relationships, I would say.
I would agree. And and I understand too, it can be a drag. You can be like, oh, I really don't want to do this. So, another piece Jen and I both coach on is mindset. So flip the script for yourself. If it feels like a drag, before you go into that, write down at least one thing that you're going to get out of it. So go into it like, okay, I'm going to talk to one person for 5 minutes or 10 minutes, make that your goal. So give yourself a motivational factor and a reason to create a win for yourself going into that situation. And also it's networking. At the end of the day, it is, again, invaluable to build your network. You're going to probably meet and talk to a person that might be of value to you down the road, or you might be of value to them.
Right. They replied, my first reaction when I hear someone call my name is to run and hide. It can be overwhelming, if you have social anxiety. I know a few of my friends who have social anxiety as well. So, take it with a grain of salt. Don't push yourself too far, but I'd say try to put yourself in little increments. Try to get a little bit more social, a little bit out of your comfort zone, because developing those soft skills and working together as a team is really important. So feel free to message me offline if you'd like to talk more about that. I'm happy to give you some tips and tricks in that regard. But we have another question here. So what are some key strategies that you suggest when keeping employees motivated through the new working from home measurements from international companies? Interesting. So I would say keeping people motivated at home is difficult. We're all in our PJs half the day, and it's not actually motivated when they're all comfy. I'd say culture and collaboration and teamwork is a great way. We were just, talking about this, connecting with others on your team. Yeah. We do a ton of activities on my team. We have a weekly stand-up where we get together. It's basically like a giant therapy session. We all talk about like our highs and lows of the week. It's one of my favorite things to do. We have a weekly team meeting. So just being conscious about those efforts, I'd say, and those touch points of connecting so that we can make sure working from home is the best it can be. Have any different reaction in that regard?
That's a great question. And actually, I just came across a post this morning from a fellow Growth Academy member who is a culture expert and just did a post about culture and motivation. And I actually just messaged him and asked that very question. I said, or a similar question, and said, how can companies really make sure their culture is being felt and seen with people remote? So I'm going to answer this question. So one, I'm curious about his answer, and I'm trying to find his name. I know his first name is Frank, so I'll find it before the end of the live so we can give him credit for that post. I will admit right now, I'm in a different situation. I was on a large team my entire career. Now I'm a solopreneur as a business owner with my company. But that being said, like Jen's saying, little things I know I do for myself to stay motivated. I'm a person of routine, and it really helps for me to keep a certain level of routine every day to stay motivated. So I get up at a certain time, I work out, I keep a schedule. So I do things like this, I do a live or, talk to people in the morning. I have certain times a day where I do client calls. So keeping that structure and building in breaks for me to step away from the computer has been one of the most important things since COVID started. I know a lot of us too, whether we're going into an office and we had the flexibility to work remote was so fun, and now we're at home all the time, so it's annoying. So breaking away for screen time is really important. Doing this, like connecting with others. I think a lot too is coming upon you as an employee to try and find ways to motivate yourself. I think companies are still trying to figure this out in this new remote world of how to stay connected with their team. So really maybe do a little self-evaluation and see what keeps you motivated and what gets your energy flowing, and try out some of those things for yourself.
Yeah. And I would argue that that was probably the biggest pivot of 2020 was learning how to adjust and work from home, for sure. I know I went through ups and downs and be like, some days I'm like, oh, great, I feel great. This is great. I love working from home. And then other days I'd get on the camera with my team and I'd be like, I'm sad. I don't want to be here anymore. I don't like this, so just like vacillating between the two. So it's been rough. Be kind to yourself is one of my things to say, like, be patient with yourself. We're all still figuring this out even a year later. So, so definitely, take it with a grain of salt, and do what's best for you and your body and your mental health.
I agree. And I know for me, it helps to change out of pajamas. I highly recommend that. Like, even if you're just going from one set of leggings to the next, or one set of sweatpants to the next, like having designated pajamas, sweatpants versus like my work sweatpants has been helpful. I'm in leggings 99% of the time, but just changing and, getting dressed a little bit really helps to like put me in a different mindset for my day.
Yes, no, 100%. Same. Like, I'm in my black sweats, guys.
Me too. I'm wearing my leggings over here.
You put on the nice top and you still have the comfy bottom. Gotta love it. Gotta love it.
I put on makeup today for everyone. So thanks for getting me out of bed today and letting me put makeup on everyone. I appreciate that.
Gina says, absolutely. I had to start doing that too. Yeah. Very to kind of start to have that distinction. And I would additionally say, as we're working from home, something that I've found that works is having a transition activity. So in the morning, I do my LinkedIn in between, like my morning time and my Google work. And that's like my transition. I know when I'm done, it's time to start my Google work. And at the end of the day, I kind of do something similar. And it's just really good at signaling to your brain, since you're not physically leaving a space, that it's kind of get out of that mode.
I love that. And I do the same thing. So my coach has me practice something, what we call like a startup routine and a shutdown routine. So same, I designate time in the morning where I go on LinkedIn, I do my mindset work, I do my journal, total of 30 minutes. And then in the evening, I kind of wrap up, check my schedule for the next day, see what I'm doing, if anything's changed. And that also helps create that distinction in my day. And I know we talk about this a lot, screen time and like really taking that break. I try really hard to keep my computer like in the office here where I am right now, and not moving that all around the apartment, or not being on the computer all of the time, to create that it's workspace versus like personal space. Because right now a lot of us don't have that separation. So trying to do little things to create that separation is really helpful.
Yeah, no, I would definitely agree. Well, we're coming up on our half-hour mark here, so I don't like to keep my guests too much longer than that. I know you guys are very busy and have lives, so thank you all so much for your great questions. This was great. I know we kind of pivoted on some other topics, so I'd love to just end us with our main focus, Andrea. If you would just like to maybe leave all the job seekers out there with some final words for 2021, how they can help, set themselves up for success in regards to changing their careers.
Yeah, thank you. So a couple of things I want to touch on. One, like Jen said, really be patient with yourself, especially as a recent grad. No one could have predicted a global pandemic, and no one could have predicted the effects that this is having on us. I did not graduate in that severe of circumstance, but I did graduate in the recession of 2008, coming out of my master's program. So to say that I completely empathize and understand with all of the mixed emotions that you all are going through is an understatement. I know how you feel. Be patient. It's going to happen. Really give yourself the time and the grace to know that you're going to achieve your goals. It just might take a little bit longer than you had anticipated. Secondly, use this time to explore, like we're talking about. Dig into your transferable skills, really network with people. Use the unexpected time that you didn't know you were going to have to really think about other things that you may want to do. It's a great time for you to explore and think about that. It gave me the opportunity to accidentally land in career development. And that ended up being my passion and what I wanted to do long term, so much so that now I have my own business doing that. So I landed in a job that I never thought I would be doing in a million years when I came out of graduate school. So let yourself explore. And then, of course, know your transferable skills. That is going to be hugely critical for you as you go forward and really showcasing yourself as a top candidate.
Yeah, no, that's all so great. That is so much valuable information, Andrea. We appreciate you being here. There's so many comments about how useful the content was. So I think everybody really loved what you had to say. I, of course, love chatting with you. We have a great time.
Yes, it's so fun.
Yes. And just, I would love for you to be able to plug your website, your business. Do you want to tell people where to find you, how to reach you?
Yeah, thank you. So feel free to reach out to me here on LinkedIn. You can find me here. Also, the free guide, Transferable Skills Guide, is in the featured section of my LinkedIn profile. You can go there and download it. And then my website is also on there. It's aimconsulting.io. So don't worry about remembering all that. Jen, if it's okay with you, I'll drop a comment in the live once it's loaded, and then I'll put all that good information in there. So new connection, feel free to reach out to me and connect with me, and don't hesitate to ask if you've got questions, and if I can support you as you go through the downloadable guide, reach out to me.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much, Andrea, for being here. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. Thank you, everyone, watching on the replay as well. And we will see you guys later this week. Have a great week.
Thanks for having me, Jen. I really appreciate it. Thank you, everyone.
Bye-bye.